So this is, as my name up here says, I don't know, our Trusted Referral Network. We're a group of about 180 or so marketing professionals around the country. And we've got a website. We get together once a week, usually get 10 to 20 people. Today we got, let's see, looks like 11 so far, including myself. At 5 p.m. on Tuesdays, that's Eastern time, and the alternating week, it is Wednesday at 11 a.m. Since we're all marketing and sales professionals, the idea is we understand each other's businesses, and yet we can't satisfy all of the needs of our clients in terms of marketing and sales, which gives us opportunities to refer business, collaborate, subcontract, all those good things, and also learn from one another. So that's the concept behind it. I've been running it for about 3 years, always looking to expand, bring more trusted people into the network. Right now, as of today, and probably for a few more months at least, there are no dues. We have a rolling 6-month trial, but as I upgrade my platform, which I hope to do in the next few months, we will switch to a dues-based program. It will probably be $360 a year, which should well be worth it. I hope all of you will find it to be so. And today we try to have a showcase. Today we actually have John Parsons, who is going to show us something interesting. In fact, if you look over my left shoulder, I guess right there, you can see my QR code. It may be a bit small unless you put me in speaker mode to actually pick up. But I presented this background with the QR code, or another version of the QR code, I should say, last week, and John Parsons was nice enough to help me upgrade it, simplify it so that it's easier to scan. And were you able to scan it, Henning? Did it work? Oh my God, it worked. So it's even, I don't know if you, did you expand it to a single single speaker mode? You did, okay. Yeah, it's probably too small, but yeah. Yeah, it's probably too small.
Actually, Michael, I didn't expand it, and it scanned just fine on my iPhone.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. So anybody who wants to can try it, of course. It looks like Rich is trying it right now. John is going to speak about how to make that happen. It's a great little extension so that people can just scan your code and they've got your contact information. And when they accept it, I think you get they fill out a form and you get their information via email.
You can do one thing. You can create a QR code that has your logo in the middle.
Yeah, you could do that too, but it does take up room, so it makes the rest of it a little bit smaller, I guess, or something like that, or more dense.
Push harder.
Yeah.
I've got a product just like that I use from a different company, and they work great at conventions and networking opportunities. Yeah, they're fabulous.
Yeah, and I use it on my phone too. But John is going to do a brief showcase on exactly how this is done, in case anybody here wants to do it. He's a master at it. And then a few people have to leave early. I think Scott Lange has to leave early. And did you say, Rich, did you say you have to leave early? Okay. So I'll have Rich and Scott start us off after that. But we'll allocate like 15 minutes or so. Does that work, John Parsons? You're on mute.
Oh, yes, it works.
Okay. All right, perfect. So I'm going to hand over the screen to you, advanced sharing options, all participants. All right, if you want to take that over, you can, and I will put on my timer for about 15.
Can I share my screen?
You can.
Okay. Well, I've been writing about QR codes since I was a reporter for the Siebel Report, and probably a little before. I was a freelance journalist, and QR codes, as probably most of you know, were invented in the 90s in Japan for the automotive parts industry. And so they were never meant for what we're doing and using it for. And for years, when I first wrote about them, you had to download an app on your smartphone, period. Whereas in Japan, Japanese mobile phones automatically scan these things. So you can scan a soft drink machine and it'll do the transaction and give you the soda. So it's only I think during the pandemic, Apple and Google and others and other manufacturers realized that you could use your camera app just to interpret a QR code, and which is what Japan has been doing for decades. So now, pretty much since the pandemic, QR codes are now back in fashion. And some phones even let you magnify. If you have a little small one and your phone camera doesn't pick it up, you can actually, I forget which phone it is, but you can actually magnify that part of the screen so it can pick up the code. The camera will go in and grab a bigger image to interpret it. But what most people probably don't realize is that QR codes can tie to more than just websites. They can tie to emails, phone, SMS, V cards, and me cards. They can do location, social media, Bitcoin wallets. That's really useful these days, right? So and video. So what we use them for is traditional. So we send out printed pieces with QR codes, and that takes the user on their phone to an interactive video, which I talked about last week. But the problem is QR codes are the size and complexity of these things is based on the amount of data in the original string. So you can have just plain text, and can you all see my screen? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So this is the text. This is the first sentence of the Declaration of Independence. And if you scan it, some iPhones will say, oh, you want to search for when in the course of human events. But as most designers I know think that these are really ugly in their small form, much less in this form, which would interfere with everything on your page or everything on your screen. So what Michael did is he sent me his Zoom background image with the QR code in the corner, and it's quite large. It also, because it's a Zoom background, if Michael moves to his left, he's going to block the code. Right, exactly. And it's less of a hazard if it's out of the way, but it has to be small in order to do that. So what I did is I took an application called QR Tiger, which scans the image Michael sent me, and it can resolve it like the camera app can, but can also let you copy the URL. So I copied the URL, and it was 89 characters long, which is why the code is as big as you see. And then I looked at the code, and there was some extra things in the string that were probably geolocation things for places in New Jersey. And if I use that, I could put it into an app called QR Monkey and create a different barcode that does the same thing. And this is the sort of shortened version. If you take out all the strings that say it's in New Jersey, in the USA, so it's simpler, it's smaller because it's only 29 characters, but it's not as small as it could be. And also, if the guys at Blink need that extra data, then you've just eliminated extra data. So I did something, or I took the long URL with all the extra stuff and put it in a URL shortener. I use Bitly, and there's several of them out there. And what I did is created a 22 character string, and this QR code is as simple as I can get. Somebody talked about putting a logo in. You can, but then you have to make the error correction greater and compensate for the fact that there's a logo in the middle of your file. So there's a trade-off. It gets bigger again if you have to put something in the middle so that the reader can see all the data that's necessary to resolve it. So what I did with this is this can be put into your graphics application. I put it in Adobe Illustrator because I have more flexibility that way. Michael, you put it in Paint, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, Michael put it in Paint, and so you can do things like colorize the background, make it a little. What you see on his screen right now is a simpler and more more design friendly. I won't say it's designed really great because these things are just ugly, but it's better and it can be smaller. And what I did after that, this is a little bit extra, is that I can take that image now and I can use it as a pop-up in a video, or I can use it as some other element to a graphic, to a printed piece, to a video piece, to an interactive piece. And so what you see now is it's just stock art that I got from Adobe, but I can animate it. You see in the right lower right corner, can everybody see it?
Yep.
Okay. And I tested it. I think that's scannable. And if it's not, then I put this together fairly quickly, but I'm pretty sure it's scannable. And because I did it okay, Rich just gave me a thumbs up. I copied the green color from the field in front of this guy, and the yellow from the sunset. So it's less ugly. I won't say it's not ugly, but it's more utilitarian. The big thing that people do with QR codes, this prettifies it, but the thing people still do, they still do this. They make QR codes that go to a non-responsive website or somebody's homepage that nobody reads because it's a little tiny thing and it's all a mobile phone. So if you don't have a meaningful experience on the back end, you're really not serving them. You're really not serving the marketing need. The other thing is where you place this thing is really, really important. I was telling somebody, I was researching for an article on QR codes in Chicago. I was in Chicago, and I saw this poster that had a mediocre QR code on it, and it was scannable. Everything was fine, but it was fairly small because these things are ugly. The problem was the poster was placed on the opposite wall, opposite the tracks on the L in Chicago. So in order to read it, I would have had to risk my life crossing the tracks to scan this thing. So I think people don't actually think about all the different things. Like you don't put a QR code on a billboard in the freeway because nobody's going to whip out. Well, most sane people are not going to whip out their phone while they're driving down the freeway and try to scan the thing. So that's kind of a nutshell of what this is. And ta-da.
Thank you. That was great. I'll add that. So as anybody who scanned my my QR code will know, it's a virtual or an electronic business card from a company called Blink, BLINQ, which gives you 2 different business cards for free. I mean, I'm sure you could pay for, if you've got 3 businesses or 4 businesses or whatever, you could pay a premium for more. But I use it when I'm out networking, and it's, I do bring physical business cards as well, but I find that it's easier if people just scan that card and then they just accept it and it goes right into their contacts. So it eliminates the step that is very frustrating. I mean, I have a few cards that I've received that are still sitting on my desk, and I'm debating whether I'm going to input it into my into my contact form.
I've got a service called Hi Hello. Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
I've got one called Hi Hello. It's very similar. I can put it right on my dashboard of my phone. So
Nice.
I literally pull this out in conversations, bring that up, and they'll grab it. It goes right in their context. This one is customizable with colors and branding, so it all matches my branding for my marketing.
Yeah.
So
when you put that in
there
the
are more things that you can do with it.
Yeah, you want to put that in the chat?
Yeah,
high and low, is it?
Yep, I can drop it in.
Okay.
Hi,
you.
hello. Yep,
Wow.
I'll
Hi,
drop
hello.
it in.
I
Okay.
have that as well.
We should
Whoever-
compile a list and compare them because I use Win Local and they seem to be popping up all over the place.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I use card, and it's a card I pull out instead of a business card. But then when people get back from the conferences, they have all these cards in their pockets, but not mine. Mine was digital, so there's that to take into consideration too.
Yep.
There, you can put your I have my Venmo and all my business, payment stuff, my logo, everything imaginable in it. And I've got one for personal and one for business, and they're right, like side by side. So people just, you know what I mean? There's no more carrying business cards. It's all digital.
Right.
So, and
Do you-
it's Hi Hello is what I use as well. It's very good.
Oh, by the way, I also just did it on my, a name tag. I have a name tag in my briefcase. So whenever I go to a networking meeting, it says Michael Bendit with the QR code and it's software development resources. So that's just another way to get it out there, and make it easy. And I've had a few people scan it at in-person meetings. So
One mistake I noticed people make is they put a QR code on something that they have on their phone, like an email, and you can't scan the QR code if you're reading the email on your phone.
right. Right.
So what I always tell clients is make sure there's an actual live link that QR code is also a button on a phone, so that it does the same thing. People, somebody asked me, how do I have to get a second phone to read your stuff, which is not great.
Yes, get a second phone, and I take a commission for it. All right, cool. Well, any other? So, do you have any questions?
One other thing I just add, that if you have the ability, I dropped it in the chat. I find people really like it for the convenience is to just text Keith Ray to 88500, and that does the same as the QR code. I don't know if these other services have the texting feature.
Interesting.
Yeah, I can do a text, I can do a link, the QR, and with Hi Hello, if you pay for the feature, you can add a video as well. So it's got all my social, it's got a direct access button to book a call, and I do have a brief commercial on there. So if people want to learn more about what I do, they can hit that, go right to my YouTube, and pops up. So these are becoming more common, and they're getting more interesting, and they're also no contact. So it's so easy for people that don't want to touch the business card, handshake, just pull them out and click, it's done.
That's it.
I use something a little bit different. I have the QR code too. I use a company called Link. And I use Link, so this has the QR code on it to my personal business card. And it also uses the NFC transmitter in your phone. So I could just hold this up to your phone and it will transfer my contact information and you save it right to your phone. I have the QR code here.
Right.
And then there's the app also where it presents the QR code and you can save it to everybody.
Wow.
That's what I was saying earlier, but mine has my logo on it.
Right.
Which I think is a big difference.
Right.
And the QR code is on the back.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
That's my next thing. Get my logo on it.
And is that something you give, or that's just for scanning? Is it just a card you give away, or is it David Libby, or is it something that
it's the same thing Eric was saying, where it's an NFC type card. I just tap the phone and it pops up on their phone.
Right. So it's not something you give to them because it's got an NFC. Right. Okay. Very cool. Wonderful. Any other questions, comments? This was a great little forum on QR codes for contacts and the like. Picked up some good information. And by the way, I record this if anybody wants to go back to it. I told John, and there may already be YouTube videos out there, but that's a nice little YouTube video to get some of your knowledge out there that people might want to dig up.
Oh, this is going to be a video. My guys are going to make a like you asked.
Yeah, I think it's good for you, right? It's good for right?
A little crazy thing. I have that picture of the train track. So one of my designers wanted to add the sound of a train coming by and hitting something. When that choice was made. Yeah.
I've seen that. I remember that. I've seen them in the subways, but I guess as far as I know, I think I don't ever recall seeing in New York anyway a poster across the tracks. I guess they are too concerned about New Yorkers and their intelligence. Okay. And I should say our intelligence. Let's move to our next phase of our meeting. We just go around and introduce ourselves. So two people had to leave early: Scott Lange and Rich Bontrager. Anybody else have to leave early? Okay, so we'll start with Scott and Rich.
I do, Michael.
Okay,
I do.
Eric, I'll move you up early.
I'll make it real quick. I think at least half of you have met me. If that's okay, I could start.
Go ahead.
Because
Go ahead, start. Yep. We got three. I'll give you everybody 3 minutes, and we're starting a little early, so we got plenty of time. Go ahead.
All you know, I do partnerships and alliances, meaning, marrying people to create business results. And it can be in advertising, digital. And now the thing that I presented last week, which is Markaz, which is a fintech platform that provides small business entrepreneurs a small business source to really, have the tools they need to succeed with one box, if you will, for all your business records, all your financial records, all your incorporation information, and a vault for all your information so that you can decide what to send out to people in a dashboard. And there are 30 million businesses on this platform, and we're growing like wildfire. So if anybody's interested in learning more about that, I put my into the chat, and I would love to hear from you, and I can send you some information. The other projects I'm working on are naming rights for the Manhattan Center. And occasionally I get a digital marketing project or somebody that wants to raise finance, and I try to stitch people together. That's really what I'm doing in my sort of somewhat semi-retired mode. Thank you very much, Michael, and everybody. And it's really great to see you, especially my buddies that know me out here. Have a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Holidays.
All right. If everybody would go on mute, by the way, because I put it on speaker mode. And Scott, thank you for that. And Scott tells me that if he does sign that naming rights, he's going to retire. And if you give him, or he's going to be in a better position to retire immediately, because apparently it's a big number, and he gets whatever, some nice percentage of that. And if you can help him do it, I'm sure he would be happy to reward you with a chunk of his chunk, with a splinter of his chip. Is that correct, Scott?
Excuse me, goes without saying. Goes without saying. Absolutely. Goes without. Absolutely. No.
All right. Wonderful. Absolutely. So I put in the chat the order in which people showed up, or if those people who have to leave earlier. We have two guests, Rich Bontrager. I want to say it the French way, but I'm going to
Bontrager.
Bontrager.
You're close. You're so close.
Bontrager. Okay, Rich, take it away. You got 3 minutes.
Yeah, thank you. And again, great to be back. And I'm a geek like John, so I like getting into the scanner and QR codes and stuff. So I really always love talking to John. I'm a media professional. I've got 30 years of radio, television, broadcasting. I now help entrepreneurs, CEOs, executives learn how to shine on camera and stage. Media skills are so important now. So I actually help you show up here on these social events. It's not just your social media. It's how you show up on camera. It's how you present here. You are now being compared to TV and movies all the time, whether you know it or not. So how you present here makes a world of difference. I coach you to give you the media skills, the communication skills that do carry over into social media. The reason I've got to leave early tonight is I'm running one of my own events. I've got a book launch party to go do tonight. So I co-host, I help you create events that you want to create, but you don't know how to do it. I'll leverage my media skills and training to help you have great, dynamic, engaging events. And if you want me to co-host and kind of MC with you, that's always part of the fun too. So anyway, I can serve you. Anyone here needs that media skills, knows the people that need to elevate their game. It's hard to tell people they stink on camera. That's my job, not yours. But then I can elevate them up to a higher level and higher quality. And it does help their sales and their bottom line as well.
I'll mention something that I just noticed, which is really good. My ex-wife used to be a presentation coach, and she said, use your hands, be dynamic. And I can use my hands, but you can't see them because they're below the screen. So you have to adjust your camera so that you can see a little bit of your bust, and therefore you can see the hands, right?
Well, that's an easy one for everyone to fix. Literally, you want to be mid-torso up. And that's one of the biggest thing I coach right away for everyone, because a floating head doesn't communicate anything except for bad.
Yeah. Although I think the issue for me is I put the camera right on top of my screen, and I have to be close enough to my screen to read it or whatever. So I got to figure something out, whatever, maybe a camera stand behind it, but that's a good one. Yeah. So if anybody needs media training or knows somebody that does, Rich Bontrager, I think I got that right.
Or Trigger is way easier. Just call me Trigger. John does, and that's always the easiest way to get around the last name.
Trigger. Okay. Thank you so much. We just had somebody join. I got to catch their name. But next will be Eric Velt. Eric, you're up. Also another guest.
Hey guys, my name is Eric Velt. I'm the CEO of Taurus Technology Consultants, and we do everything from website construction to IT consulting, networking, cybersecurity, and technology seminars. I am a career changer. So I was a teacher for 10 years in the state of Florida. Some people say great state, but I'll just say the state of Florida. And I create that intangible because, as we know, most IT people don't really have the greatest personalities. So I create that little extra intangible that I could do tech seminars and present things and explain technology and all of this crazy nonsense that we use in our world today when we talk about QR codes. And QR codes are great and all, but we also know that the bad guys can also hide viruses and spyware in those QR codes as well. So you need a guy like me to make sure everything is kosher and everything is on the up and up with everything. So thank you guys for inviting me. I greatly appreciate it. And I put my information in the chat. Please look me up on LinkedIn and connect with me. I'd look forward to working with everybody and whatever I can do for you. Thanks.
Yeah, and interestingly, so Eric, correct me if I'm wrong, but you taught at a charter school that specializes in sports management.
Correct. I used to work for a charter school called SLAM. They're primarily down south, and with what Trigger was talking about, SLAM Miami has the only Sirius XM channel that is student run in the country. It is run by two great guys, Larry Millian and Frank Fernandez. And I was listening to them this morning, and they're just, and just the kids are there, and it's so cool to watch. And some of them are by former students, so I still get to catch up on what's going on at school. But they get some real on the job, real life training on how to run the boards and sports broadcasting and just commentary in general. And it's good to know those public speaking, basics. I had to take it in college. I'd actually take public speaking in college. It was a course. It was mandatory.
Good stuff. Thank you so much for joining us. Okay, Rajiv Jadhav, you're up.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you for the opportunity. I help people with their online visibility or invisibility, as the case may be. Online visibility enhancement is basically elevating their profile by leveraging thought leadership best practices, which includes helping them to be a United Nations speaker to globalize their brand, or helping them by producing their podcast for them as a done with you or a done for you service, or even helping them become an Amazon bestselling author. So all of these things are the thought leadership stuff, helping you look good and be visible prominently. The flip side of that is invisible. Now you might ask me, Rajiv, why would anyone not want to be visible online? Well, if you have a whole bunch of scorching reviews that accuse you of being a monster and worse online, then chances are you don't want that to be seen by your existing customers or future customers, because that will be 100% effective at killing your existing business and killing future business as well. You'd want to get rid of that stuff by deleting. Yes, you heard me, deleting all that stuff. So that's what we do. We delete all those bad, nasty reviews from all those haters online. And we delete the bad press that the haters are posting, whether they're posting it on the Wall Street Journal or Daily Beast or wherever they're posting. You can get rid of that stuff because you don't want to deal with that, because that's causing a lot of confusion in the minds of your customers today. So take action. Ignorance is not bliss. And my ask is to meet with marketing people, because they know clients that need this help. And the reason why you want to pay attention is because you get paid, I get paid, the client gets taken care of, and it's win-win-win. Everyone's happy. And that's my biggest ask. And for those people who don't know me yet, or I haven't had the chance to do a one-on-one with, I'll drop my Calendly link in the chat, and I look forward to getting better acquainted. Thanks for the opportunity, Michael.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what everyone should do. Drop your LinkedIn into the chat. You can find members on the trustref.net website, but only by their company name. So if you want to remember, if you remember their name, but not their company name, you can save the chat, and hopefully their LinkedIn, everybody's LinkedIn will be in that. Thank you, Rajiv. Let's see, John Parsons, then Stacey, then David Libby. John, you're up.
I kind of spilled all the beans with the QR stuff.
That's all right.
Well, I'll be real quick. I am a freelance writer, but I'm also part of a video production company called Intuideas. We create video and interactive media for small businesses and for the agencies who serve them. Our big key benefit is that we offer interactivity without the need to subscribe to a 5-figure a year platform like Vimeo. So if you want to do more with video, more interactive branching, more responsive to what the user wants to see video, that's what we do.
Okay. There's another member in the group who I just spoke with yesterday. Who's also a video guy. And I well, two people. Well, right. Patrick Sassow and Robert Weiss. Do you know Robert?
Robert and I've spoken. We're going to talk after the holidays because he and I are talking about working together for to put interactivity into his wonderful content.
Right. Okay. Good. Wonderful. Okay. Yeah, I just spoke with him. I think it was just yesterday. Let's see. John Parsons, Stacey Mathis, then David, then Henning. Stacey, take it away.
So my name is Stacey Mathis, and I own a
little louder.
Hear me? I own a website. Let me turn up my volume. I own a website called Legal Copywriting Central. Can you hear me?
Yeah, but you're not showing up. It's not picking up loud enough to actually make you the speaker, interestingly enough. So just make it a little bit louder if you can. I see you, but you're small in this screen. That's all right.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, there you go. Picked it up.
That worked.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my name is Stacey Mathis, and I own a site called Legal Copywriting Central. And what we do is we're a small agency of 12 writers. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's a little low though.
Don't know what's going on.
You need a microphone like Triggers.
Yeah, really. I'll try to talk a little louder. Anyway, and I'll be quick. We, create websites and anything that we write the copy for any type of promotional material or whatever attorneys use to sell their services. We also do this for other companies in the legal arena, and that can include magazines. We've written for the American Bar Association, trade associations like the American Matrimonial Academy, with tech companies, and we've recently entered into affiliate partnerships, 2 of them so far, with tech companies that who also serve attorneys, Clio and LawPay. So and and the reason we went into these relationships is because they also help to improve, from a marketing standpoint, the client experience. So we're sort of branching out into a little beyond copywriting and general marketing. Stacey Mathis, Legal Copywriting Central. Thank you.
Okay, and did I introduce you to Jay Berkowitz, based in Florida? Does marketing specifically for lawyers. Okay.
Oh, I'd love to meet him.
Yeah, I will do that. Or remind me if you might want to ping me. I probably have it in my notes, but you might want to ping me. Jay Berkowitz. I think it's 10 Golden Rules is his company's name.
Oh, Oh,
I don't know where that comes
Thank
from,
you.
but it might be a biblical reference. Okay.
Thanks.
David Libby, you're up.
Hey, everybody. Well, I'm not here to do a lighting instruction. I look like an Oompa Loompa. I don't know why I'm orange today, but here we go. I can certainly sing the song from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. I did at one point represent the producer, David Wolpers, so that's a long story. But today, I'm David Libby at twopins.com. We amplify B2B tech value propositions for startups and mid-sized companies. We do public relations, content writing, and agency support. Now I feel like I need to go into my Oompa Loompa song, but I'll just spare you all.
You want to give us a couple of examples of stuff you've done?
Sure. We work with companies that are in the cloud computing sector, legal tech.
Remarkably, welcome back. It's remarkably cheaper than those solutions for more sophisticated stuff. If it's just a plain cookie cutter store, go to Shopify. But if you have to do something that requires any sort of customization, especially communicating with third-party systems, our API is magic. And we can do things faster. It's like $6 million man action without that price tag. So that's it. That's my story.
Okay, sorry, my Zoom crashed, and I got on via my phone, and now I'm back on via my computer.
Who's next?
The next person should be, so Roger went.
I think it's me.
Roger,
Yeah.
did you go?
Keith.
Yeah, he did.
Okay, and
Keith's up.
Henning went.
Oh, he dropped.
He dropped.
Okay, Henning dropped, so that would be Keith Reynolds and Ron Hubsher.
Yes, sir. Hey, how many of you know a CEO that needs a marketing or content strategy? They're in business, they're spending money, and sat back and developed a thoughtful strategy. I'm a fractional CMO, advisory CMO. I'm also a writer, producer kind of person. I've written and produced over 100 websites over the last 25 years. I've got 3 unique areas of specialization: research-based content strategy around helping you turn your website from a who we are, what we do, buy my stuff website to an actual content hub that's part of your sales process. I love to produce roundtables, podcasts, webinars, and events. Michael was a guest on a program I put together recently for a software company. Thank you, Michael. And then also marketing automation, CRM, and lead nurturing. I really am great at the data and analysis and coaching to help get results out of those systems and set them up right. So if you want to learn more, you can check out my book, The New Content Culture, on Amazon. You can also reach out to me with any of the ways below. I'm always happy to do a free consultation and an evaluation to see how I can help you improve your business. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Keith. Okay, and last, but Ron Hubsher, and then I will go. I didn't miss anybody after Ron, right? Ron, you still with us? There he is. Just go on.
Do you want to go? You always go last. I always feel bad. You do all the work and you go last. You're so gracious. Do you want to go first before me?
That's all right. I got time.
Love the hat.
Yeah, take it away, Ron.
Yeah. You know how when you lie in bed at night and you're really frustrated and upset, you thought you had a deal closed, and now a client's pushing you back, pushing you for a deep discount, and you don't want to feel like you're being taken advantage of, and you're not sure, do you cave in and do the job for less than you're worth? You push back and risk losing the deal? Do you take some middle ground that you're not really sure what's going to happen? If you've ever had that before, we make sure that never happens to you again. I'm Ron Hubsher. I run a company called the Sales Optimization Group. We specialize in negotiation training, so you can close your deals with full asking price and command price premiums, and you won't have to lie in bed late at night stressed out.
Keeps you from, it's better than Xanax.
Yeah, way better than Xanax. Yeah, and it makes you more money.
Xanax does not.
Side effects, the only side effect is more money and tax problems potentially, but that's it.
There you go. And Ron has, I guess that's one of his key differentiators as part of a sales training firm. Is that correct? Is that a good way to describe what you do?
Correct.
I love the hat. Is that?
Sales
Are you? in Florida? You're down there full time now.
Yeah,
no?
I'm in Florida, and I just came back from the dentist, so sorry, I had to put something on that made me feel good.
All right. I didn't miss anybody, did I? All right, I will go then. So my name is Michael Bendit. My core business is called Software Development Resources. And what I do is I'm a matchmaker for software development teams. And somebody once asked me, does that mean web development, or do my teams do web development? Well, most software now is delivered on the web. So yes, absolutely. We do websites, we do e-commerce sites, but we also build applications on mobile devices, which can be web, depending on if it's coming through your browser or not, or it can be a native application, which is what most of us click on our screen. Those are native applications. What makes me unique is I don't just have one toolkit or one tool in my toolbox. I represent a dozen teams, and so we've got a pretty broad range of capabilities. So people come to me when either they don't know what's the right platform, or they don't know where to get the right team that has experience on a particular platform with a particular technology, or they want to save money by going offshore or dual shore, which is a combination of having a couple people here and most of the resources offshore. I happen to do most of my work with my dual shore teams because there's such a good balance between not having to deal with the offshore headaches, language barriers, cultural barriers, time zone differences, but you still get the benefit of some really good talent offshore. But you're working through the owner, the proprietor, the project manager who's here in the US. Best leads for me are digital agencies that do some of this work or outsource all of it. And sometimes they may have a programmer or two on staff, sometimes overwhelmed by what they have to do, more work than they can handle, or something comes their way that they just don't have the skill set for. They're not familiar with the technology, the platform, whatever happens to be. Would love to talk to anybody who's got an idea or who needs to upgrade their website, or who's freelancer who programmed their website or their e-commerce site has gone skiing, gone on vacation, disappeared, or is not attentive to their needs anymore. We do a fair amount of work picking up from projects that were built by freelancers. So I'm going to stop there on mine and go back to gallery mode. I apologize again for the technical glitch. I'm glad that Zoom kept things going for me, even though I, as the host, dropped. I guess that's one of the benefits of Zoom. It does that. Any questions? Now would be a good time, if you haven't already, drop your LinkedIn into the chat and pick up everybody else's LinkedIn. So the way you do that is you open up the chat, and then on the bottom, there is the three buttons. If you click on that, the first entry in the menu is Save Chat, and that will download it. Anybody wants to have a one-on-one with anybody here, just reach out, of course, with me, of course. And any other questions, comments, advice?
Oh, just checking. Roger, are you on LinkedIn? Because I looked through.
I am. Let me put that. I can put that in. I put my website in, but I can put in my LinkedIn profile too.
Yeah, because I looked for you on LinkedIn, and the person that came up doesn't look like you. So I just want to make sure it's
Oh.
the looks.
Well, hang on. Yeah, that photo was taken about 15 months ago. Let's see.
Mine is even older than that. Mine was taken like 2015. I got to upgrade mine.
No, this one, what's coming up for me is Director, Merchant Development, Car IQ.
No, not me. Here you go.
All right, so he dropped it in. Roger.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Brooks,
Roger Brooks.
6B4140. Remember that, or just save the chat. All right, good. Stacey, I love the background. I think I've seen it before, but it's good background, and your jacket matches. fits right in.
Hey, Roger, I've also wanted to say that the guy that does my fractional CFO work owns a winery out in California. So
Oh,
maybe I
okay.
can put you two together.
I love that. Yeah, my girlfriend and I moved up to Marin about 2.5 years ago from Mid Peninsula. So we're right on the borderline of Sonoma and about 25 miles from Napa. So
I worked out there many years ago. It's beautiful. Lucky you.
No, that's great. That was my first company transferred me out here after grad school, and I never looked back.
And David Libby's sort of in your neighborhood up in on the East Bay.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I'm in Orinda.
Oh yeah, beautiful area.
Thank you.
And John Parsons only a couple hundred miles north from there, maybe 500 miles.
Just a smidge.
Just a smidge.
Depends on what map you have.
Depends on what map you have. Exactly.
Only an inch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, great. Listen, thank you so much, everybody. Again, connect with each other, invite your friends, tell them about the Trusted Referral Network, and take advantage of it. Definitely make sure your listing's up to date. You connect with people here. You introduce people to other people, and we will all be better for it and richer, as Ron Hubsher will always say. Take care. Have a good day. Good evening.
Thanks.
Good evening.
See you tomorrow, Rajiv.
Thanks, Michael.